So, all you scared to death Negroes, just sit down. Don't you come out to defend our enemy. You sit down and you shut up and tell your master to come on out and deal with it.
We're going to go into just explaining to you what our next activity is. For those of you who are our guests today, many of the students that you're looking at are students that belong to the Demand for Separation Summit team. These are our students, and they have been given an assignment to, in fact, deal with what's called a point of contention. You may ask, what is a point of contention? And it's important to understand what a point of contention is so that we can introduce you to this activity. A point of contention, according to Webster, is defined as the thing that people are arguing over. Pretty simple, the thing that people are arguing over. So we'll accept that definition because you know there's a lot of arguments that we have to defend when it comes to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But one of the things that we want you all to be able to defend as we look at the time and what must be done is defending the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's, what the Muslims want, what the Muslims believe, in particular, the demand for separation. A lot of kumbaya is going on right now around the world. A lot of kumbaya. Anybody know what I mean when I say kumbaya? Let's hold hands and join, right? But in fact, what we want them to do, our students to do, is to be able to defend the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, defend proudly the teachings of the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and defend his guidance for this time, as he has done on July 4th to the entire world. So what you will be presenting and hearing today is our students defending point number 4 of what the Muslims want. I'm going to bring before you Sister Mecca and Sister Anita, wonderful team members, to introduce you to our teams.
All right, are we ready? Our teams have worked so hard over the last couple of weeks to prepare their defense. I'm so proud of them. I'm so excited for the effort that they took just because they said yes. So we're going to begin with our first team, introducing you to our first team. Are we going to put the slide up of the first team? Team number 1, the Criterion.
Can we get that slide up? Ah,
the Criterion. This is our team that will represent the standard of a new world. So we have Brother Taki, who attends Tennessee State University, Brother Khalid, who attends Hampton University, Sister Sonales, who attends Benedict College, and Sister Amaya, who attends Clayton State University. Let's welcome defense team number 1, the Criterion.
Yes, ma'am, Sister Mecca. I'd like to also say the children have worked so well. Our next team, their names is Saviors.
woo!
Sister Lisa, she represents Georgia State. Sister Jasmine, Clayton State. Brother Kareem, Georgia State. And Brother Abdul, Muhammad's University of Islam. Let's give them a warm hand.
Our next team, we have Clear Evidence. Clear Evidence will be given the clear and convincing proof. So on this defense team, we have Brother Musa. Musa attends Tuskegee University. We have Brother Ishmael. Ishmael attends Georgia State University. Sister Safia attends Georgia Southern University. And Sister Naja, who attends Clayton State University. Let's welcome defense team number 3, Clear Evidence. Let's go, students.
All right. So as they get prepared, we're going to send them off so that they can spend a little bit of time prepping themselves up for this great defense of the teachings. So Sister Courtney, you're gonna send them off to their rooms?
Yes, ma'am, doing it now.
Sister Nicola?
Yes,
at this
ma'am.
time, can you just explain to those as they're exiting the room how the quiz, the poll is gonna also work again when they come back? Bye,
Yes.
students.
Bye. We'll see you shortly. So for everyone who remains, what we would like for you to do is to pay close attention to each team's presentation. We need for you to take a poll and vote on each team based on 3 categories. The first one is the best presentation. And we'd like you to look at how they collaborate, the unity within the team, their teamwork. The second area will be best content, their actual facts, how they reference different sources, and their best defense. The third category we'd like you to vote on is best credibility. Were they credible? Did they convince you? Were they passionate within their presentation? So those are the 3 areas we'd like you to vote on the teams on. And we do have some prizes for the winning team, so to speak. But please help us in that way by voting using the polling that will appear on your screen when we're able to do that. All right? Thank you, Sister Odetta. Back to you.
All right, all praises due to Allah. And so while they are in their classrooms, we wanted to do something special because as we did for the Summit 1, we really highlighted the Ministry of Agriculture. But the reality is that all of the ministries are part of their life. And one of the ministries that we talked about as a team is the Ministry of Arts and Culture. Historically, music has always reflected what is happening in the society. And so we want us to be able to grasp that concept with the students in understanding the value of music in this perilous time. So we have with us, not with us, but a part of a clip today, a brother that represents the Ministry of Arts and Culture since as long as I've known him, which has been since he was about 4 years old. But he's a recording artist, and we wanted you to sit back and relax and enjoy this music that reflects the demand for separation, that reflects the spirit of being a part of what is happening in our own way through divine guidance. Sister Courtney, if we can show that performance. I think Sister Courtney's still trying to get folks in the room.
John Martin, an unarmed black shot down by a white neighborhood watchman.
And was found hanging in her jail cell. Her death ruled a suicide.
We're seeing new images of the officer accused of killing Floyd.
Unless we come together
charged fatally shooting
as a people,
Castillo.
all those are good conscious guys.
27-year-old Rayshard Brooks was shot and killed by police during an
Let's
attempted
build.
weapon.
Let's build. We gotta do it in unity. We gotta do it in unity. Otherwise, we're gonna perish.
Well, since the government won't change their ways, and the world we in not save the day, we gotta do ourselves no time to waste. We gotta unite or die. See, the world we in have turned so cold. When a girl gets shot less than 1 year old, and you ask around, nobody knows. We gotta unite or die. We gotta unite or die. We gotta unite or die. Listen, son, let me tell you about my life. Let me tell you about my struggle to be free. The ones who said emancipate when they deliberate are the ones who lied to me. Listen, son, let me tell you, don't think twice. Let me tell you about post-slavery. No matter what they demonstrate, our worst enemies are the ones who own money. But I wanna make it plain, oh, we done sat New Cross, we march, we sing. We done tried everything, but we're still failing. The only thing we haven't tried today, the one thing we need to try is unity.
Praise be to Allah. Can we get a round of applause for that performance by our brother? That was absolutely beautiful. And again, just highlighting what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave to us as ministries. The word ministry means service. And through music, we serve the world. We serve a message that in fact reflects the God of freedom, justice, and equality. It's not a racist God that we serve, it's a serving God. And so with our tribute to Brother Zach and his music, we pray that each and every one of you, whether you're a student or not, guess what? Music is the key that really vibrates through people and send messages far more than our words could ever do. So I pray that those who are on the Zoom with us today find the power in their personal time to write poetry, music, song, and dance. All praises due to Allah. So as we get closer and closer to bringing the students on, we wanted to show you all really the master of defending the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because when it comes to divine guidance, we know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is speaking truth to the world, and it is so plain that even Stevie Wonder can see and bear witness to it. So all praises due to Allah. That's an old joke, but all praises due to Allah. Let us watch and see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan representing the demand for separation, point number 4.
Muhammad put on the back page of Muhammad Speaks. We want freedom, full and complete freedom. We want justice. We want equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of creed or class or color. We want equality. We want equality of opportunity, and we want equal membership in society with the best in civilized society. But then in point number 4, he says we believe that those of us whose parents, have been here for 400 years, and we believe that you offered us integration as a hypocritical trick to make us believe that our 400-year-old enemy has now become our friend. We believe that this is the time in history for separation. And he said, since we can't get along with you in peace, then we think what we've contributed to America, we should have some of this earth that we can call our own. So we need 8 or 10 states with an outlet to the sea. And we want you to supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 or 25 years until we can go for ourselves. Now, I had a talk at Harvard with that man, the senator that died, Moynihan. He had talked about birth control among blacks, and I went to Harvard, and we had a little debate, and I told Mr. Moynihan that, we wanted to be separated from you. We don't see you giving us no justice. So we want some of this earth that we can call our own. And I was telling him that we were willing to go into underbrush and cut the underbrush down and fell the trees and build a nation of our own. And I was telling the Honorable Elijah Muhammad what I told Moynihan, and he said, stop, you was doing all right till you got to that part. Say, you don't tell a white man that you're willing to go back and cut no underbrush. We already did that once. If we have to do it again, that's not progress. Hell no. Get out of the cities and the towns that we helped you build. Go and find some other state to move in. You move out, we move in. Now wait a minute. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, that's a pipe dream. Well, damn, you better put it in your pipe then. You better start smoking what this is. Because that mess that you talking ain't making no damn sense.
That's right. That's right.
You gonna wait around here another 100 years so they can bamboozle you some more?
That's right. Right.
He said, well, 8 or 10 states, let them go out, we go in, and let them take care of us in that separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, they won't do that. Listen, they've been taking care of Israel for 55 years. They've given Israel over $100 billion of your tax dollars, and Israel haven't done nothing for them. You mean to tell me we who built the country, we who fought, bled, and died to maintain the country, we who gave it art and culture and season it, and you know we can't get along with you in peace as long as we want equal justice? Hell no, we can't wait for you to change. We want a nation. We want to be able to prepare a future for our children. We don't need no rich middle class of Negroes who can't do nothing for the masses of our people.
All right.
We need land and territory that we can call our own.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. How inspiring is that for a new generation to look forward to? You know, where we're talking about not necessarily going back to Africa or land that is not civilized. He says, just move out, give us a few states and we'll move in. And so with that understanding and with that new mind that we talked about at the beginning, we really want to empower the students in understanding what the demand for separation really is about as it pertains to what we're given from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So as we get ready for the students to come back, again, Sister Nicola, can you just repeat again as they're coming back? Bring them back in, Sister Courtney and Sister Nicola. You can tell them the different categories for the voting.
Yes. So the categories are best presentation, and the focus here is teamwork, collaboration, unity. The second area is best content. We want to look at their actual facts, their references, and their best defense. And the third category is best credibility. Were they convincing? Were they passionate? So best presentation, best content, best credibility.
All right, thank you. Sister Courtney, how are we doing with getting the students back into the room?
They're coming in and they look fired up.
Are they fired up?
Yeah, oh my God.
They looking fired up?
Ready
All
to
right.
hit the teams.
All right. Get rid of them butterflies. I see them flying around your heads. Praise be to Allah. All right. Sister Courtney, just give us a cue when they're all in. And as they are coming in, students, remember, we are going to listen attentively and you're going to prepare your point of contention response. I'm going to read to you, just to reflect for a moment, what the Muslims want. Point number 4. We want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory on their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land and that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate state or territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. Since we cannot get along with them in peace and equality, after giving them 400 years of our sweat and blood and receiving in return some of the worst treatment human beings have ever experienced, we believe our contribution to this land and the suffering forced upon us by white America justifies our demand for complete separation in a state or territory of our own. I turn it over to you, Sister Mecca.
Yes, ma'am. Before we begin our point of contention, we will start with the quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stated, "The earth is burdened by the wicked living on a planet that was made for the righteous." And so the burden is now being shaken. The burden feels something coming because they are being overthrown. You can't live in a world made by God on the basis of truth and live your life on the basis of a lie. Teams, are you ready? Team 1, the criterion. Let's hear it. Are you ready? Team 2, saviors. Are you ready? Team 3, clear evidence. Are you ready? We are so pumped up and excited and waiting to hear from you. And let's get started. Here we go. Team number 1, the criterion. You may begin.
The criterion? Go ahead.
Right, all right. This is righteous competition, but it's serious play, and we're all one team at the end of the day. But any team out there that wants to know how to win, pay attention and follow the criterion.
Black power, but white control. As long as the white race are empowered to be the dominant race, there can't and will never be a coming together as a people. They have not changed and they will not change. The system can never be fixed. It has been tried in the past and failed. Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in closing the gap that it is a myth that America is for all. That is why our presence and the multiplication of our seed is threatening, and why every scientific method of destruction of us is now put into force, that if we do not find a way to separate from these people, there may not be Black people left in America.
Dr. Martin Luther King was a strong activist for unity, but before he was murdered, he stated, "I fear that I am integrating my people into a burning house." We have wanted to integrate with the same people who enslaved us. Their hate hasn't changed, and no matter how hard we try to get justice, we are still being killed, poorly treated, and too dependent on them, making us ultimately still slaves. So separation from these people will allow us to live without fear of our lives and finally give Black people a chance to be independent. It isn't until we can govern ourselves that we can have 100% justice.
Separation is not only the best option, but it's the only option for us, because we know that we cannot get along with these people, the white race. We cannot get along with them in peace. They have been the peace breakers and the mischief makers. Starting when they came here, they stole the Native Americans' land, killing off their people. They enslaved us for over 400 years. They beat, murdered, and lynched us, and it's still going on to this day. This is a picture from 1920, as you can see. And this is a picture from 2020. It is still going on, them murdering, beating, and lynching us.
When the ignorant think of the Nation of Islam, oftentimes what comes to mind is the lies perpetrated in front of their eyes. So when the talk of separation is held by some people, it often fell on deaf ears because they didn't see it for self-preservation's sake. The lies made them see it from a place of hate. So I would like to disabuse all those confused and give you a perspective from someone respected who Black people in America seem to cherish, Abraham Lincoln. On August 14, 1862, during an address on colonization to the deputation of Negroes, Abraham Lincoln asked the question, "Why should the Black race be colonized elsewhere where they're not considered slaves?" His answer, I'll paraphrase. "The physical differences our race has is a disadvantage to us both, as I think your race suffers greatly by living with us folk, while ours suffer from your presence. In a word, we suffer on each side. If this is admitted, it affords enough reason why we should be separated." Thank you.
All right. I was so excited that I did not read the point of contention that they were defending, and I do apologize for that, but they did an absolute fabulous job. I will read the point of contention, and we will go on to team number 2. The point of contention: there's no need for talk about separation with all the unified efforts to bring this country together? Why separate when we have finally arrived at a point where white, blacks, everyone understands that we need to fix the system and end systemic racism? We're getting along finally. Team number 2, let's go. You may begin.
Yes, ma'am. You mentioned that we are getting along just fine. Really? When? The white race does not have a good history of getting along with any race, not even themselves. When they encountered black people in Africa, they made slaves out of them and killed millions. They took everything away from them, their culture, their names, their religion, and their identity. When they encountered the Native Americans, they exploited their kindness and made slaves out of them. When they encountered the Chinese, they tried to dominate them. And when the Chinese revolted, you have what is known as a Batavia massacre, when they executed 10,000 of the Chinese. They even have a record of killing themselves, from the French Revolution to the Boston Massacre. Do we see a pattern here? Everywhere they go, there's a pattern of death and destruction, and it's the same today.
Separation deals with having complete independence and having self-reliance within our race. Having complete separation will allow us to solve all conflicts that affect us as Black people. In a message to the Black man, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the so-called Negroes must return to their own. Separation would be a blessing for both sides. It was the only solution, according to the Bible, for Israel and the Egyptian. So how can we expect to have a just system if we do not have full control of the system? If we want the system to change, we must have our own system. The United States government says that we are equal, but their actions show otherwise. Many of our Black brothers and sisters are being killed due to discrimination, and the justice system fails to aid our people from police brutality.
The only thing that has changed is the definition. Racism is the same, it's like repetition. George Floyd is the name of the man who was lynched. Tamir Rice paid the price of being a threat in your eyes. Ahmaud Arbery was gunned down while staying in his own lane. Y'all are removing racist symbols. We're not speaking the same. We want racist systems out of the game. Unification proclaims to reframe the world, but it will only further tame and restrain. For 400 years, we were not equal. You didn't even think of us as people. Who goes back to their abuser again, unashamed? We would have to be insane to think America has changed. We will abstain from that pain. We are being slain like an infestation. Black people cannot be recognized until we have our own land to stake claim. History will not repeat itself. We are compelled to change the game.
We want a land of our own in a separate zone where we own our own homes with the lie of the throne. Separate from this, they get lust in the streets, they tell lies and deceive, they hate God and fear peace. Apparently, y'all have been having hallucinations. One nation under God, but your God is a Satan. Your foundation is a constitution of systemic racism. So since we can't get along, we'll build our own free nation. The system ain't broke for 100 years. Our open enemy integration with the savage, that's some stupid shit to me. 29 square million miles of producing land for life. We got the space to be free, but y'all want to shack with whites. Ma'am, my 8th general order is, in case of disorder, give the alarm. But with bad memories of slavery, makes us reluctant to farm.
Thank you, group.
Give them a hand.
Excellent job. Excellent job. Excellent job. Let's move on to group number 3, clear evidence. Come on, clear evidence.
Bring it.
All right. It has been 155 years since the so-called end of slavery in America, and only 60 years since the so-called end of Black people's fight for their rights in America. Is this how long it takes you to live a comfortable life when you're getting along with your former slave masters? The methods your unified efforts use are not even effective. If it was effective to teach a white man to have morals, then there would not have been American slavery in the first place.
The Holy Quran states that there is a day coming that cannot be averted, and on this day we will be separate. The Bible says you cannot drink from the cup of the Lord and the cup of the devil. Former U.S. President Abraham Lincoln agreed to both. He once said that both blacks and whites suffer while living close to each other, hence why both parties should separate. Even though we were freed under a document he signed, he recognizes that we can never be equal to the white race under this system. Valerie Wilson, the director of the Economic Policy Institute, says blacks dying at the hands of whites is a consistent pattern they have been observing for decades. Now catch this. The German government has agreed to extend compensation to Jewish families even after they die.
Jews are being compensated for the Holocaust. So why shouldn't the U.S. government compensate us for the worst atrocity they committed to original families? Why shouldn't we be compensated since we will never receive justice or be able to achieve the American dream?
Please point out to me what unified efforts are being made to keep this country together. Research of police mapping violence shows that Black people are 1.3 times more likely to die at the hands of police officers than their white counterparts. Since we have been in quarantine due to COVID-19, at least, and I'm using this word very loosely, 10 Black men and women have been killed due to this system that you say can be fixed. This same system that burned down Black Wall Street, a thriving Black community. This same system that incarcerates Black men and Black women on petty weed charges and then turns around and makes weed legal. This same system that murders innocent and unarmed Black men, Black women, and Black children every single day and are not charged for their crimes. This same system that forces vaccinations upon their citizens knowing that they cause autism and several other ailments. Need I say more? Why wouldn't you, as someone who has been living under such unjust circumstances, want to separate and have something to call your own?
With our brothers and sisters being killed physically by the government and citizens and ourselves, mentally by churches and schools, what's the solution? Well, considering the information my team so graciously gave you all, the only solution is separation. If given the chance to govern ourselves and create a nation on the foundation of freedom, justice, and equality, will these problems not be eradicated? Let us educate our children so that they don't grow up with a lack of knowledge themselves. Let us run the court system so that we may fully judge our own actions and not be executed over charges proven to be false years later. Let us run our own hospitals so that if one of our own may pass, we know it is from the ailment and not because of the medicine that you give us. The European Jews give them a second chance at life. Why not us?
Great job, team number 3.
Clear evidence.
Clear evidence. Awesome. Now we'll turn it over to Sister Anita.
This is phenomenal. Before we get ready to defend the second point of contention, I would like to begin with a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that will get us mentally ready. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has stated, "He who prescribes the diameter of your thinking determines the circumference of your activity." Minister Louis Farrakhan referenced the biblical parable of the tied-up ass and colt described in Matthew 21, 1 through 2. And Minister Farrakhan questioned, who is the ass? Who is the colt? The donkey is the unlearned people, and the colt is the young college student. He explained, untie the college students. Others will come when they see the donkey and the colt working together. Teams, once again, are you ready to defend the second point of contention? Here we go, and I will read point of contention number 2. With your so-called demand for separation, what will the college students be able to offer after graduation? I think that the college students will do the same thing that the talented 10th did with W.E.B. Du Bois. Forget that they were supposed to give back. You have 3 minutes to answer, and we're going to start with clear evidence. Team number 3. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go.
The talented 10th, a concept that had good intention for the betterment of Black people, was a phrase coined by W.E.B. Du Bois in 1903. Just 7 years prior, in 1896, the Separate but Equal Act was passed via the Plessy versus Ferguson case. Black people were finally feeling like they were given an opportunity at equal education. However, nobody was there telling them that they needed to come back to their communities. And if you pull out a calendar right now, like in this very moment, we are in the year 2020, almost 117 years later. It is unfair to compare the mentality of a Black college student now to the mentality of a Black college student of 117 years ago. We are living in 2 completely different eras.
Nowadays, we will not be fooled. We were given the guidance of God himself in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The program they created for us contains tools and the knowledge of self needed to make a real difference. 2 of the key tools in the nation's program are the economic blueprint and the 9 ministries. both of which are equivalent to the tools and platforms that nations use to implement the essential sciences and systems of government.
Proverbs says, where there is no vision, the people will perish. As long as we have a vision of what we will do with our degrees, plus these two programs, we will never perish. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad says in the economics blueprint that if there are 6 or 8 of us with a similar mind, we should work together in a collective manner.
Every discipline, every major, every field of study is necessary to build a nation. Wherever you see fit in either not ministries or the economic blueprint, put yourself in and go to work. You aren't required to be a registered believer to see a problem and want to fix it. I myself am an education major, and I plan to use my knowledge of actual facts in order to teach the younger generation how to accurately see and be able to make decisions with a properly tuned judgment.
I am a mechanical engineering major and a horticultural minor. I will use my knowledge to grow food for my people and solve our problems in infrastructure when we find it.
I am a nursing major and a fitness minor, and when I graduate, I will help my people get in shape around the world with my workout program, and I will nurse them back to good health.
I am an exercise science major with a concentration in physical therapy, and I will improve my people's health conditions void of the use of over-the-counter medicine.
And the thing is, we're only a tiny part of our generation. There's a flame that burns strong in all of us. So if you're not with the program, move out of the way. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Now we want to hear from our next team, Team 2, Saviors.
In the Torchlight for America, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, Black people have $300 billion in spending power. Yet as soon as the dollar enters our community, it exits almost immediately. I'm sure y'all are wondering, with all this talk of separation, are y'all all talk or are y'all about that action? In the Nation of Islam, we are taught that our word is bond. My major is computer science, and one of the things I want to do is teach financial literacy. Me being a young person, I can say I've learned a lot about investing and saving my money. If we separate, learning about money will be very important for our financial success. I also would like to set up a secure online banking system due to casualties like the coronavirus that we are currently facing or things of that in the future.
The nation already has a history of giving back to our people without fail, from prison reformation, community cleanups, and gang reconciliation. When the world turned their backs on Haiti after the devastating earthquake of 2010, we were quick to supply resources, doctors, and the support they needed. As a dual major in biology and food science, I will develop a steady, sustainable food and agricultural production to provide for our nation and feed our people after separation. I am passionate about the essential role science and innovation plays in ensuring our food system will be safe, nutritious, and long-lasting.
We have students in the nation like Mayada Muhammad, who is a graduate student who studied medicine to be able to heal, and she's a medical doctor. We need that for our nation building. We also have people like Brother Ben X, who is a business entrepreneur. Although he didn't graduate college, he still has his entrepreneurship in business. And he teaches other young people how to start their business and become successful. We need more people to teach our young people how to be successful and how to do for self. We as young people are preparing to bring our skills from the classroom to the forefront to help build our nation. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that we need some of this earth to call our own. We can never become a free nation without it. One of the skills that I plan on doing is my major is education. I plan on teaching the future students. I know that the public school systems, they not really considerate about Black students, and they don't consider Black students when they teach. I want to teach the Black students who they are and who they came from in the history that is not being taught in the public school systems.
My contribution to the nation was largely inspired by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in which he says you do not have to condemn a dirty glass, you just simply put a clean one right next to it. Therefore, as a student education student, my goal is to basically learn as much as possible and then teach what I know, to be the actual vessel of the nation. That's what
All right, give them a hand.
We've heard from two awesome teams, Clear Evidence and Saviors. But last but not least, another phenomenal team, Team 1, the Criterion. Let's go.
Bring it.
Bring it.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate has risen to 7.6% since February. Roughly 17.8 million Americans are unemployed. The number of permanent job losers continues to rise higher than Urkel's corduroys, increasing by 588,000 to 2.9 million in June. According to the University of Washington, roughly 53% of recent graduates are unemployed or underemployed. Even with a perfect resume, references, and an established job-seeking strategy, they're unlikely to find the work in the field that they'd rather be in or one that requires a degree to begin. 34% of college graduates were underemployed in June 2019. So the reason why the college students of today will do better than the talented 10th did in a way is purely out of necessity. As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stated so eloquently, America does not have enough jobs for her own nearly 200 million citizens, with expenses, let alone her 40 to 50 million slaves begging at the fences. The time is fast approaching when we will have to do for self or suffer the consequences.
Talented 10 had a great idea as far as the employees and the talented 10 give back to the community. However, we are committed to this because we know there is no other option. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once said that 100% dissatisfaction brings about change, and we can see that we are 100% dissatisfied all over the world, which is why we are offering a solution, separation, and with our degrees, we are going to acquire the knowledge and come back with our nation and build our own government on the basis of freedom, justice, and equality.
The Nation of Islam is in fact a nation within its own, with its own constitution, flag, and way of life. We have a set program to ensure our success in a separate state or territory. We have the 9 ministries, which include the Ministry of Agriculture, Education, Information, Health, Trade and Commerce, Defense, Justice, Arts and Culture, Science and Technology. Once we have our separate state, the college students who have earned their bachelor's degree in their specific field of study will be able to come back and fall into a ministry to help elevate our new society, and everyone will have a place.
W.E.B. Du Bois wrote, "A people thus handicapped ought not to be asked to race with the world, but rather allowed to give all its time and thought to its own social problems. Now, if we own it, we control it, which makes us the rulers and puts freedom, justice, and equality in our hands. Now, we, this generation of college students, we will get a benefit of our knowledge to the elevation of our own people. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in Torchlight of America, we can promote the idea of buying black, but we must have something manufactured by blacks to buy. More of us need to come out of corporate America with the skills that we have acquired and build businesses that service the needs of our community. And that's what we plan to do. Assalamu alaikum.
This is righteous competition, but it's serious play. And we're all one team at the end of the day. But any team out there that wants to know how to win, pay attention and follow the criteria.
Oh, I had to go on mute because I was shouting through your presentations. Oh, praises due to Allah. That was absolutely phenomenal. Let's get up the scoreboards. Let's do our voting. It is time again to choose a winner. Which team would you say had the best presentation as far as teamwork, collaboration, and unity? Which team would you say had the best content, actual facts, references, best defense? Which team would you say was most credible, convincing, passionate? I love the passion. I love when they come out passionately.
That's right.
Praise be to Allah. Yes. So let's keep on voting. Let's get those votes in. Let's get those tallies in. And we will, as we prepare to hear from our keynote, get ready to also announce our winners. Praise be to Allah as we continue to take the poll. Students, give yourselves a hand. Sincerely, give yourselves a hand. Beautiful work, beautiful collaboration. I think as Sister Atala said in the chat, you all are winners because you all are under the divine guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's why you are all winners. And don't ever forget it. So as you continue on your journey with school, be very mindful that in everything that you do, you say, Inshallah, if it be the will of Allah. And whenever you cannot pray, you just say his name, oh Allah, because you all are representation of the new world order that we're talking about. When we talk about what you're going to do with your majors, it's a beautiful thing to hear what you all are planning to do for our nation and also the world. Minister Farrakhan said we need virusologists and biologists and chemists And so we know that you will be of great need and great service to the world. All right, so we have the winners. And we're gonna open up the mics for drum roll. And then we're going to open up the mic for the person who was the team lead, because each of these teams had a team leader. So for point of contention number 1, can we get those pictures up? And a drum roll. For point of contention number 1, we'd like to ask Brother Kareem to speak on behalf of the Saviors.
Oh man, praise be to Allah, praise be to Allah. First, I just want to just thank everyone who took part in just making this happen. You know, this was a blessing for all of us, so I just really appreciate it. This gave us something else to do. And just shout out all the teams, man. Y'all all did a great job. I like all y'all presentations.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Saviors. All right, drum roll for point of contention number 2. Point of contention number 2, drum roll. I'm gonna ask Sister Sophia, representing Clear Evidence, to come and speak for your team. Sister Sophia?
Assalamualaikum. I would just like to say that this was a very great experience. I'm very glad that we got to do this. I'm also glad that I got to interact with a couple of the people who I normally wouldn't interact with. This was a good experience for us to be able to defend the teachings, because these are questions that we will and do get asked on a daily by just the people in our regular environment. So thank you for this experience.
Praise be to Allah. Let's give it up for our students. Praise be to Allah. That was a wonderful, wonderful experience, particularly for us who are just really representing being guides for you all. And you know, the best thing that you can give to us is the reassurance that you are in line with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so when you came passionately with defending what the messenger has taught through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and you've never even seen the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we know that that banner is going to fly very high for the rest of eternity. So all praises due to Allah. Thank you again, students. Thank you so, so much.